Justin Rodriguez.
I'm Katie. We went to the Caldwell Consistory last night in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. For those of you who know the area, it's down by the fountain on, is it Market Street?
I think it's Market Street, yeah.
Market Street, yeah. So, we heard that this building was supposedly haunted, and it's one of the older buildings in town. I think it was 1908 they said it was built. Mm-hmm. And we just went in and we're hoping that somebody would be able to talk to us. And this very nice lady named Kathy.
Yeah, she was a huge help.
Yeah, Kathy hooked us up, and Kathy works at the dyslexic center that is in the consistory. So she's there all the time, and we were asking her about if she thought the place was haunted and stuff. So she let us come back later when it was dark and basically gave us like an all-access tour of all the places that were supposedly like haunted or had activity in the past.
It was in February, years ago, and I've never felt frightened except for this night. I heard someone come in the center. I heard them walk back through the tutoring room back to my office door, but nobody came in and I couldn't see anybody on the monitors. So I got up from my seat and I walked around the desk to the door, and all of a sudden I felt this force come whoosh right through me. And in my head, all I could hear was, "Get out now!" Just like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm standing there and I'm beginning to tremble. And I said, "Okay, look," I said, "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help children. Give me time. I'll turn off all my monitors and my computers. Let me turn off my equipment." So as I began to shut everything down, I was getting more nervous and more shaky. So now my arms are trembling, my legs are getting wobbly, and I did get out the door. But my front double door lock, the key is a skeleton key, so it's hard to get the door to lock if you're not steady. And by that time my hands were shaking so badly I could barely lock my center door.
The first thing I noticed too, like walking into Caldwell, it is so old style, and it just has this creepy vibe. The staircase especially.
Yeah.
It's so well lit at the bottom, and the top of the staircase is just so dark, and you just naturally you just want to look at the top of the stairs, and you just expect to see somebody standing
even
there.
During the day,
Mm-hmm.
it was still we first went when it was still light out, and it was still really creepy upstairs, and then we got there when it was dark. Mm-hmm. And it was pitch black up there, and it was just it was just a weird vibe, I guess. That's how I would explain it. The whole night we just got weird vibes. The second floor was still kind of weird, mm-hmm. But then she took us to this hallway that was pitch black, and that was one of the worst. Yeah, that was one of those classic horror horror movie scenes. It's just a long hallway. Mm-hmm. There's I think there was one window in it, and you couldn't even see without a flashlight, and even with a flashlight you could only see the doorknob at the end of it. Yeah. And she wouldn't even open it. I had to open it myself, and she didn't even go in. Me and Justin kind of went in a little bit, and she hung back and was mm-hmm. just kind of holding the door. Icy cold. I just just a random hallway. A 10-degree difference mm-hmm. is from when you walk in the threshold of that hallway. It was oof. I'm just glad that she took us, because our whole entire time through there, once we went up the stairs, I'm okay, it's probably gonna be an auditorium and a couple other places, but mm-hmm. we ended up going so far back into this building. It just kept going back and back and back, up, and then eventually we ended up coming back down. But our time that we spent in the auditorium, even it was so quiet in there, and the entire time you could hear a pin drop, and it was just on edge the entire time, and you just felt something was gonna happen, or something mm-hmm. was gonna show up, or I don't know. And Kathy just kept telling us to take pictures, because for those of you who believe in ghosts and stuff, apparently if you take pictures, if there's orbs in the picture, it's a sign that there's mm-hmm. paranormal entities in the room. So she just kept telling us to take pictures, and she showed us her pictures.
Yeah,
and
we
there
have
were
those.
Huge orbs in there.
You see the round circles, those are these bright ones. I think those are the leaders, okay? Mm-hmm. This, you'll see some here. You'll see another one over here. Here's one. Over on this section, there's a cot. And if you look real closely, you can see there's one here, one here. This is the far side of this room, okay? Yep, there's a big one. Here's a small one up here. Here's one underneath the sink. There's one on the table. This is the shower room, all right? This is the guy. I think he's the head guy. I think this is who this is. Because he shows up in a lot of them. See, these are little like diamonds.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see like a shooting light come across, and those are the same. Up here's a round one. So some of them are diamond shaped, some of them are round. This is Maxine. This is one of our tutors. Look at her leg.
Yeah.
This is downstairs in the downstairs section, right? The stairs would be coming down on the other side of this wall. And this was the night of the ghost hunt, and her son Christopher was downstairs with her, and she goes, Christopher, she goes, hurry up and take a picture of my leg. She goes, it's cold. There's something cold on my leg. And when they printed the picture out, there's the orb right on her leg.
I was scared that like I would take a picture and I would see like a figure in there, but it was just like very unsettling to be in like that dark of a room when it was that quiet, and it was just huge. And I don't know, it was just weird. And then like when I was in there the whole time, I always felt like somebody was like right behind me, or that like
super unsettling,
just like
feeling.
Something was like just following me or following us, and like it was just not the greatest feeling in the world. And like it would get like very like heavy. The whole mood was just heavy and like dark.
How about the basement? The room in the basement.
No,
So like this room's in the basement, and I hope we have some decent shots of it because it was fairly dark. But so this whole building is like I guess it's like for the Freemasons. It's like or served a purpose to train like Freemasons, which I don't really know too much about them. A lot of things that I hear about, they're more like a religious cult, I guess. Yeah. But this room is like set up like a giant like a conference room almost, kind of.
Yeah, like it was like a mini auditorium. Like it was set kind of up like a theater, but it was like long and narrow.
And like it's at the end of like at this room, there's just like 3 chairs. You have like one center chair where I assume like would be like a lead figure of some kind, and that was kind of a repetitional thing. It was in the auditorium as well. But we walked into this room, and it is so quiet. Like it was quieter than like the auditorium. Like stuffier, I guess is kind of what I want to say.
It was like it just felt like we were in like a dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course we get down there, and Kathy's like, "Well, we've heard like a cat down here."
Yeah.
And just all sorts of like random things.
Water turning on when people turned it off.
Yeah, and like I sat down, and like I just wanted to sit, and like even like sitting, I was just like, oh, like the back of the room you couldn't see, like when all the lights were off, you just couldn't see, and you felt like someone was just kind of hanging out right off the corner of the room where you couldn't see.
It always felt like we weren't alone. Like it felt like there was something, and like we didn't see anything, but we heard things. The attic was pretty scary. Like we didn't get to go up because it was like a hatch and it was locked, but just like the stairs was.
It was really cramped.
Yeah, and like when we were in that back stairwell that like you looked down and they were just like it went all the way down to the floor. That was where it was very cold in there. And like the higher you went, the colder it got and the weirder we felt. Once we got to like the 3rd floor, we felt super weird. We went to this like bathroom thing. It was like kind of like the
washroom.
Yeah, the washroom, and it had like old showers and sinks and stuff. And like I don't know, it was just like weird in there. And then as we were leaving there, Kathy was like, "Did you guys hear that?" We were like, "No." And as we were leaving, we just heard this. We were down the hallway, and we just heard a huge bang. And then I got really scared because it sounded like a door slam. Right. Like there was no draft or anything. It was so like just like nothing up there. And we heard a door slam or some sort of bang, and we went back downstairs. We were in the basement. She showed us the boiler room, and I didn't like the boiler room. I got weird vibes. And then like you were in the one room, and then there was like the other one. There were like 2 rooms with like stuff in them. Justin was in the one, and then I was in like the threshold of one of the other ones. And we heard I heard 3 taps, and Kathy was like, "Just let it go." And I was like,
let that go.
I don't know. And then like as soon as it happened, like I just felt like a rush of cold air like come through me, and I was like, that was not my favorite thing in the world, and it just felt so like dark and gloomy the whole time.
It was weird because when you go up in an old building like that, you would expect it to get like warmer.
Yeah, because
but it was so cold in some spots.
Yeah, and then like we would keep walking through spots that were like noticeably 10 degrees cooler than like the rest of the place we were in, and like it just felt like it was like following us around.
Yeah.
Which was very unsettling. It was just a weird building.
Yeah, it's definitely strange.
Like building. I walked past it this morning and I just like couldn't look at it the same. Like I was like, there's no way I'm going back in there.
I'm just amazed like how much like last night after we went back through like this whole building, and like when we went to leave, like I was so comfortable with sitting on the stairs. Like I wouldn't dare to like sit on the stairs. Like I always would want to look like behind me.
Yeah.
But then like just compared to the rest of the building, like the stair area was like, I'm like, this is nothing. This is nothing. The rest of the building is just that much creepier.
It felt like so much more comfortable being downstairs in this huge scary stairwell than the rest of the building, which is just like creepy, and there's like pictures of like the Freemasons and everybody all over the wall. And I don't know, Justin and I both like never have actively like sought out ghosts, so this was a first. Never. And like when we did it, it was just like it was fun, but it was also really scary.
Yeah. And
like one of the scariest things that Kathy said was like, make sure when you leave, like you tell them not to follow you, that you'll be back. And I was like,
perfect.
Great.
Great to hear, like right when we go to leave.
But yeah, and like she did, like when we left the room, she was like, we'll be back, and I was like,
Yeah, I noticed that like after we left last night too, like once we left, like it was just so much lighter. I don't know if it was like a weight lift or much, because like you know, I wasn't like, you know, nervous the entire time. But like when we left, it was just like so much lighter and easier to breathe, and just more like, I guess, comfortable. I don't know if it's just because we were in a different setting or like, really how to explain it, but
as soon as you walked out the front doors, it was just like the mood just like lifted.
After we reviewed our footage, we realized that we may have captured our own evidence. Is this the Caldwell ghost? You decide.